Why walking your dog is a bad idea. Why walking one dog is a bad idea, let alone two dogs. I'm not saying I want you to stop walking your dog, but I do want to talk to you today about reconsidering why you're walking your dog, how you're walking your dog, where you're walking your dog, and hopefully make it more enjoyable for you in the future. Experience. When you are walking your dog, you are gaining experience as a handler and you are working on your relationship. When you are walking your dog, you are giving your dog experience in how to walk with you. And that can go good or that can go bad. And what I'm trying to do for you is to create pleasantness moving forward. If you have experienced pulling, lunging, off-leash dogs, barking, fear, anxiety, these are things that you need to consider for both yourself and your dog moving forward. Going for a walk, a lot of people think of it as exercise. I need to exercise the dog, so I'm going to take the dog for a walk. But it's more than just physical exercise, it's mental exercise. I can take my dog for a walk, but if they're pulling and lunging the entire time or barking, they're just going to get more frustrated, and really I'm not helping them mentally by just meaninglessly walking down the road, letting them hit the end of the leash at things they see, or me constantly pulling that dog back, and now we're just doing this with each other instead of having a nice enjoyable walk together. So your walk should be enjoyable, it should be relaxing, and that is both for you and the dog. I need to make sure that you and your dog both understand what is the purpose of the walk. So again, that's physical and mental. I don't want my shoulder being pulled out of the socket while I'm walking, especially a large breed dog. And I don't want that dog having constant strain on their neck or body harness. I don't care if you're using a body harness, a choke collar, a flat buckle collar. Feeling that constant pressure is no fun. It's no fun for you and it's no fun for the dog. The leash could matter actually. So you might want to consider the equipment you're using, since I mentioned collars, and you might want to use a long line, a 15-foot, instead of a 6-foot leash. That can be a whole nother video, but I think a lot of times equipment can make a difference when we are training our dogs. How to deal with distractions or surprise encounters. If I'm not good at dealing with a surprise encounter or distraction as a handler, my dog is not going to be able to learn how to deal with those situations. So I need to remove myself so I'm comfortable and go to a different area or environment, because once I'm confident, my dog is going to be more confident. Where location and distractions matter. I need to have a buffer zone with a dog that has any level of reactivity. And if I live in a busy suburban neighborhood, I can't always tell what's around that corner or what's around that fence line. And so every time I'm taking my dog out, or every third time I'm taking my dog out, if this continues to happen with a negative reaction to something, the dog is going to start to anticipate these things and get more aroused in those situations. The time of day can matter. So for example, if you live in a suburban neighborhood, I'm not going to be walking my dog I'm trying to train on leash for a loose leash walk at 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning when the kids are getting on the bus and it's busy, or 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon when the kids are getting off the bus. I might decide to walk my dogs at noon instead when the neighborhood is quiet. That might be that one small change I need to make with my dog, where I'm encountering less things to make the walk go wrong instead of making the walk go right. This is a big one. If there are multiple people in the family taking the dog on outings, the inconsistency in the handling can be really confusing for the dog. One person is relaxed and they have a good mindset, and one person is more nervous, and then the dog is being more reactive with that person than the other person. A good example of that is when dogs come here for training. We are practicing leash manners and door manners all day long, and the dogs are stupendous for us on all behavior on leash. And when the owners come, the owners get yelled at, and the dog goes right back to their old behavior, because right away they're pulling on the leash and the dog is pulling back. Your dogs don't forget that stuff. They know when they can do something, they know when they cannot do something, and they learn through repetition, through action, that they should be doing this thing with you at all times, or sometimes they don't have to. So what I want you to think about for the next week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks, it takes as long as it takes. It depends on where you and your dog are at in training and how long these leash walks have been going on, pleasant or unpleasant, is think about the location where you're walking. If you can just change the time of day to offer less distractions, then do that. If you can't, and there's been enough bad experiences in your neighborhood, you might need to go someplace new. I love using the sports fields across the street from my house by the high school because I have a huge visibility. I can go into a big open field. I can walk a new dog getting trained, and there's just not a lot of distractions. That gives the dog the opportunity to enjoy physical exercise and mental exercise with me without encountering loose dogs. Because if I walked a newly training dog in my neighborhood, it's not gonna go well because there are a number of loose dogs that would be encountered, and then I'm setting the dog up for failure and not success. Maybe you've been having leash walking problems for 6 months. Maybe it's been a year. Maybe it's been longer than that. Maybe it's been multiple dogs and you've never been able to have a successful walk. That doesn't mean that you can't fix it. That does not mean that it can't be better, but it's gonna take time. And people will ask, how long does it take? It takes as long as it takes for you and the dog. Everybody's journey is gonna be different. Everybody's outcome and expectation is gonna be different. Your level of expectation is not the same as mine, and that's okay. All we're looking for is betterment across the board to make it better for you and make it better for the dog. So take one thing and think about what you can change back to that location or time of day or level of distraction. And if you can just start with one small thing and see some change over, maybe it could be a few days, it might take a few weeks, but don't get discouraged and don't be afraid to move location. Or look at the little things that happen with the dog instead of expecting this automatic loose leash walk with your dog for a half an hour. It might be, it used to be 30 minutes of hell, and now you at least got 5 minutes of a decent walk. That's better than it was a week ago. If that's the step in the right direction you're taking, it's still a step. Thanks for visiting my channel. My name is Tiffany Hibner. I have been professionally training dogs since the late 90s. My goal of this channel is to bring dog training to the forefront of people's thoughts when they're getting a dog and owning a dog. I love training my dogs. I absolutely love it. It is my #1 hobby. Pets, they're all pets. Performance, I love competition obedience. And I think that a good pet dog should have all the components of a lot of the things that we do in competitive obedience. And it is my goal to help teach people the importance of companion dog stuff, a good heel on leash, a reliable sit stay, a reliable recall, because sometimes when that equipment fails, the only thing we have to fall back on is training. The other thing that I love about what I do here at my training school is we have a really good core group of people. It is more than just coming to dog training class once a week as a chore. It is hanging out with like-minded dog people and building incredible relationships between people and dogs and groups of people and dogs. That is why I do what I do.